Okay, our topic now is pruning. We are not talking about shearing the bushes outside or yard work by any means. With me, both from Cortex Leadership Consulting, we have Courtland James, Executive Coach, Lynda McNutt Foster, CEO. Thank you guys both.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
To tell
Our
me how
Corecast. Our
Yes.
Corecast.
I know I keep saying our podcast for Virginia at Work, but again, I like your little Corecast catchy phrase. Okay, first question. I'm going to throw it out. I'll let you guys conquer which one's going to answer this. What is pruning?
Well, pruning, it's interesting that you mentioned the landscaping. I was actually a landscaper for one of my first jobs, and when we pruned in that job, you prune a bush to trim the excess to increase the fruitfulness and growth of a plant. So apply that metaphor to the workplace, and it's trimming off everything that's holding you back from being as effective and achieving your desired outcomes.
And how often, Lynda, do you see that when you are training executives that they need that skill in their life?
Honestly, you need to do it every week.
Really?
It's part of, to coach yourself once a week. You say, what do I need to start doing, stop doing, and keep doing? And the stop part is the pruning. And some of those stop things are super easy, and some of them are hard, right?
Absolutely.
Personnel decisions, pruning the wrong, bad fit personnel decisions, huge. Lots of thought, lots of consideration. Stopping eating chocolate every night, pretty easy. That's not a big decision. Bad, prune.
But not easy to do.
That's the thing. We're adults, right? Our minds are set.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains have neural pathways. We've been doing the same habits for a long time. So when you ask an adult to change a behavior, to speak in a different way, I always think about tone.
Yes.
I'm in a hurry. I'm a high driver influencer from DISC, right? And when I'm in a hurry, I'm on task.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, Lynda, I need you to change your tone when you're having anxiety and need to get a task done. Like, that's, any type of change that adult needs to do takes a lot of intention, a lot of work. You have to think about your new pathway. You have to set up new triggers for yourself so that you can prune that behavior.
And, Courtland, here's a question, too, and it kind of stems from what you were just answering. We do this DISC assessment, the driver, influencer, supporter, and calculator.
Good
Look
job.
at that. I'm on it.
Look at that.
I remember these things. And so when you're pruning, I would assume, you just said tone of voice, it's very different depending on who you're talking to. And I know you were saying you're a high driver, so you're like, just do it, let's move on. And someone else might be like, oh, he's so mean. How do you figure out how to say it to who? How do you know what they want and what they're expecting to hear from you so you don't offend them?
It's really about speaking to each behavioral style and communicating with them in a way that they want to be communicated with. And each behavioral style has a different, hot button and a different, way that's really going to open them up.
So when you think about somebody like drivers, we have to be very careful when we're on task not to come across curt, not to do drive-by delegation, that sort of thing. Supporters, we may need to coach them to be more assertive. So, if I'm working with someone who's a different behavioral style than we are, we have to actually ask them, you need to speak up more in a meeting. Right? You may need to have a more authoritative tone at certain times. And that's very difficult for them. So if you're a behavioral style that loves to sit back, listen, right? You may think speaking up at any time during a meeting may be disrespectful. It may cause you a lot of anxiety to speak up, where for us it causes a lot of anxiety not to speak up.
Courtland, you do a lot of these executive coach training with these CEOs and whatnot. When it comes time to prune, what are the things that you see that they need to prune mainly? Is it personnel issues? Is it more habits? When you talk pruning, I'm assuming it's a wide spectrum of things.
It encompasses a lot of stuff, and it comes down to what their outcome is. So that's the first step in deciding, what they need to prune, because it's different for everybody. Depending on their desired outcome, that's going to determine if it's tasks, it could be a habit. For example, if someone's trying to their outcome is, I want to live at a healthy body weight and just be healthier. The chocolate is probably an easy habit that needs to start to be pruned. Right. And that can affect the workplace as well. When it comes to achieving a strategic initiative, then it comes down to you to identify the outcome and then break it down by time. And like Lynda was saying, you get it down to a week space and you say, what is going to lead to the accomplishment of that outcome? And everything else gets pruned.
Right. So you set the outcome and then you go, is this particular action serving me to get to that outcome? So if I'm a leader and I have an outcome of being much more effective and leading a major initiative, and I have every employee on my small team having to copy me in on every aspect of that project, I need to prune that. That's not feasible because I'm spending an hour every day just sifting through all of those emails.
So this is something for people to think about as we wrap this up. You're on your way to work right now and you're racing to get the kids to a softball practice, or I've got this, and you're looking at this list of things you have to do during the day and you're like, not a single one of these can get pruned. Every single thing on this list of my day is important. Let's talk about how to prune coming up.